First contact and betrayal. The vast expanse of space had always called to humanity, a siren song of endless possibilities and untold wonders. For centuries, humans had gazed at the stars, dreaming of the day they would venture beyond their solar system. That day finally arrived in the year 2157, when Dr. Elena Reyes, a brilliant astrophysicist, made a groundbreaking discovery that would change the course of human history. In her modest laboratory on the outskirts of Mexico City, Elena had been working tirelessly on a revolutionary propulsion system. Her creation, dubbed the Reyes Drive, promised to unlock the secrets of faster-than-light travel. As she ran the final simulations, her heart raced with anticipation. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a successful test run. "We did it," Elena whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of computers. She turned to her assistant, Marco, who stood slack-jawed in amazement. "We actually did it." News of Elena's achievements spread like wildfire across the globe. Within months, the first interstellar ship, the IS Horizon, was constructed in Earth's orbit. Elena, along with a hand-picked crew of scientists and explorers, prepared for humanity's first journey beyond the solar system. As the Horizon departed, cheers erupted from every corner of the planet. Humanity watched with bated breath as the ship disappeared into the inky blackness of space, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of an entire species. Weeks turned into months as the Horizon ventured deeper into the unknown. Elena and her crew marveled at the wonders they encountered: distant stars, nebulae of breathtaking beauty, and planets of every imaginable hue. But nothing could have prepared them for what they discovered in the Proxima Centauri system. As they approached the system's habitable zone, their sensors detected an artificial structure orbiting a blue-green planet. First Officer Jared Chen's voice crackled over the intercom. "Dr. Reyes, you need to see this." Elena rushed to the bridge, her heart pounding. On the main view screen, she saw it, a massive space station, its sleek design unlike anything humanity had ever created. "My God," she breathed. "We're not alone." The next few hours were a flurry of activity as the crew prepared for first contact. Elena, as the mission leader, would be the first to set foot on the alien station. As she donned her spacesuit, she couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. The airlock hissed open, and Elena stepped into the station's docking bay. The interior was bathed in a soft, blue light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. As she took her first steps, a group of beings emerged from a nearby corridor. They were humanoid in shape, but their skin shimmered with an iridescent quality, and their eyes were large and almond-shaped. The tallest of the group stepped forward, raising a hand in what Elena hoped was a peaceful gesture. "Welcome, travelers," the alien spoke, its voice resonating in Elena's mind rather than her ears. "We are the Zaraquin, guardians of the Galactic Council. We have long awaited your arrival." Over the next few days, Elena and her crew learned of the vast interstellar community that existed beyond Earth's knowledge. The Zaraquin explained that they had been monitoring humanity's progress for centuries, waiting for the moment when humans will achieve faster-than-light travel. "Your species has great potential," the Zaraquin leader, who called himself Ezron, told Elena. "The Galactic Council is eager to welcome humanity into its ranks." Elena couldn't believe their luck. Not only had they made first contact, but they were being offered a place in an advanced galactic civilization. As she relayed the news back to Earth, she could almost feel the excitement radiating from her home planet. However, not everyone on the Horizon shared Elena's optimism. Security Chief Layla Khoury remained suspicious of the Zaraquin's motives. "It all seems too convenient," she confided to Elena. "Why would such an advanced civilization be so eager to welcome us?" Elena dismissed Layla's concerns, chalking them up to paranoia. She was too focused on the incredible opportunity before them to consider any potential dangers. As the days passed, the Zaraquin shared more of their advanced technology with the human visitors. Elena was particularly fascinated by their energy production methods, which seemed to defy the laws of physics as she understood them. "This could solve all of Earth's energy problems," she mused as she examined a Zarquin power core. Imagine a world without pollution, without energy scarcity. The Zarquin were all too happy to offer this technology to humanity, with one condition: Earth would need to join the Galactic Council and abide by its laws. Elena saw no issue with this, viewing it as a small price to pay for such incredible advancements. As the Horizon prepared to return to Earth with news of their discovery and the Zarquin's offer, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that she was part of something monumental. Humanity was about to take its place among the stars, and she had helped make it possible. The journey back to Earth was filled with anticipation. Elena spent much of her time studying the data they had collected and preparing her report for the world's leaders. She knew that her recommendation would carry significant weight in humanity's decision to join the Galactic Council. Upon their return, the crew of the Horizon were hailed as heroes. Elena found herself at the center of a media frenzy, her face plastered across news outlets worldwide. As she stood before the United Nations General Assembly, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. "Distinguished representatives," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I stand before you today with news that will forever change the course of human history. We are not alone in the universe, and we have been offered a place among the stars." Elena's impassioned speech swayed many of the world's leaders. The promise of advanced technology and the end to many of Earth's problems was too tempting to ignore. Despite some voices of caution, the decision was made: humanity would join the Galactic Council. In the months that followed, Earth underwent rapid changes. Zarquin representatives arrived, bringing with them technologies that seemed like magic to most humans. Clean energy replaced fossil fuels, diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries were cured, and the first steps were taken to terraform Mars. Elena watched with pride as her home planet transformed. She had become a symbol of this new era, revered as the woman who had led humanity to the stars. But as she stood on the balcony of her new home in the gleaming, first contact city, she couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. It was Layla who first brought concrete concerns to Elena's attention. The former security chief had been investigating anomalies in the implementation of Zarquin technology. "Something's not right," Layla insisted. "These miraculous cures, they're having side effects the Zarquin aren't telling us about." Elena was reluctant to believe it, but she trusted Layla. Together, they began to dig deeper, uncovering a disturbing pattern. The Zarquin technology, while impressive, seemed to be making humans subtly dependent on it. More alarmingly, there were signs that it was altering human biology on a fundamental level. As Elena and Layla gathered more evidence, they realized the horrifying truth. The Zarquin's generous offer was not an act of benevolence, but the first stage of a slow, insidious conquest. The realization hit Elena like a physical blow. She had championed this alliance, had convinced her planet to trust these aliens. Now it seemed she had unknowingly betrayed her entire species. Just as Elena and Layla were preparing to take their findings to what remained of Earth's independent leadership, disaster struck. A series of explosions rocked First Contact City, targeting key human government buildings. In the chaos that followed, Elena watched in horror as Zarquin ships descended from the sky, no longer bothering to maintain their benevolent facade. As sirens wailed and people fled through the streets, Elena felt a steel resolve form within her. She had helped bring this calamity to Earth, however unwittingly. Now, she would do whatever it took to make it right. "Layla," she said, her voice hard with determination, "we need to get off planet. We need to find a way to fight back." As they raced through the burning city, dodging energy blasts from Zarquin weapons, Elena's mind was already racing, forming the beginnings of a plan. Humanity had been betrayed, but they were far from defeated. The Zarquin and the Galactic Council they served had made a grave miscalculation. They had awakened a sleeping giant, and Elena swore that they would soon learn just how fiercely humanity could fight when pushed to the brink. The rise of human resistance. The world Elena Reyes had known was gone. In the 6 months since the Zarquin revealed their true intentions, Earth had become a battleground. Major cities lay in ruins, their gleaming skyscrapers reduced to twisted metal and shattered glass. The advanced technology that had once promised a utopian future now served as the chains of humanity's enslavement. Elena and Layla had barely escaped the fall of First Contact City, fleeing into the wilderness with a handful of other survivors. They had watched helplessly as the Zarquin systematically dismantled Earth's defenses, using the very technology they had so generously gifted to humanity. Now, huddled in a hidden bunker deep in the Rocky Mountains, Elena faced the grim faces of what remained of Earth's resistance. Military leaders, scientists, and civilians who had managed to evade capture all looked to her for answers, for hope. We trusted them, General Marcus Hawthorne, once the head of Earth's combined military forces, growled. His weathered face was etched with lines of exhaustion and anger. We let them walk right in and hand us our own destruction. Elena felt the weight of guilt pressing down on her shoulders. I know, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I recommended we accept their offer. This is on me. Layla, ever her staunch supporter, stepped forward. We all made that decision, Elena. Now we need to focus on fighting back. A bitter laugh came from the corner of the room. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant physicist who had worked alongside Elena on the Reyes Drive, shook her head. Fight back. With what? They control our satellites, our communications, even our power grid. We're back in the Stone Age compared to them. Elena took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. This was no time for self-pity or recriminations. Maybe that's our advantage, she said, her mind racing. They think they've beaten us. They think we're helpless without their technology, but they've forgotten something crucial about humanity. She stood, moving to the center of the room. All eyes followed her. Throughout our history, humanity has faced seemingly insurmountable odds. We've survived ice ages, plagues, world wars. Each time, we've come back stronger. We adapt, we innovate, we endure. Elena's words seemed to ignite a spark in the room. She could see hope beginning to replace despair in the eyes around her. The Zarquin think they know us because they've been watching us, but they don't understand us. They don't know what we're capable of when we're pushed to the brink. Over the next few weeks, the resistance began to take shape. Elena worked tirelessly with Dr. Tanaka to develop countermeasures against Zarquin technology. They discovered that the aliens relied heavily on a specific frequency for their communications and energy transfer. If they could disrupt that frequency, they might have a chance. Meanwhile, General Hawthorne organized the remaining military forces into guerrilla units. They began hit-and-run tactics against Zarquin outposts, slowly gathering intelligence and resources. Layla took charge of a network of spies, infiltrating Zarquin-controlled cities to gather information and rescue humans who were being used as test subjects for further enhancements. As the resistance grew, so did the legends. Stories spread of a shadowy group, led by the woman who had once championed alien cooperation, now fighting to free humanity. The Zarquin, who had thought their victory complete, found themselves facing an enemy they couldn't easily crush. 4 months into their campaign, the resistance scored its first major victory. Using a device Elena and Dr. Tanaka had developed, they managed to temporarily disable the Zarquin energy grid in what used to be New York City. In the ensuing chaos, resistance fighters freed thousands of humans from processing centers. The success breathed new life into the resistance. More and more people flocked to their cause, bringing with them crucial skills and resources. But with growing numbers came new challenges. We can't keep hiding in the mountains forever, Layla pointed out during a strategy meeting. We need a more permanent base, somewhere we can really dig in and start developing larger-scale solutions. Elena nodded, an idea forming. What about the old Neoway complex? It was decommissioned years ago, but the basic infrastructure should still be there, and it's designed to withstand attacks. General Hawthorne's eyes lit up. Cheyenne Mountain. It's perfect. Defensible, hidden, and with enough space to house our growing numbers. The operation to secure Cheyenne Mountain was their riskiest yet. Elena insisted on leading the mission herself, despite protests from the others. "I got us into this mess," she said firmly. "I'm going to see us through it." The battle for the mountain was fierce. The Zarquin had not left such a strategic location unguarded, but the element of surprise, combined with the humans' desperate courage, tipped the scales. After 3 days of intense fighting, the resistance flag flew over Cheyenne Mountain. As Elena stood in the command center of their new base, she felt a glimmer of real hope for the first time in months. They had a foothold now, a place from which to strike back against their oppressors. But their victory had not gone unnoticed. The Zarquin response was swift and brutal. They launched a massive assault on the mountain, determined to crush this symbol of human resistance. For weeks the battle raged. The humans used every trick, every scrap of ingenuity they possessed to hold their ground. Elena worked around the clock, fine-tuning their defenses, coming up with new ways to counteract Zarquin technology. It was during the darkest hour of the siege that Elena made a breakthrough. As she pored over data from their latest skirmish, she noticed an anomaly in the Zarquin energy signatures. "Dr. Tanaka," she called out, her voice hoarse from lack of sleep. "Look at this. There's a pattern here, a vulnerability in their shielding technology." Yuki rushed over, her eyes widening as she saw what Elena had discovered. "If we could exploit this, we might be able to not just defend against their weapons, but turn them back on them." The two scientists worked feverishly, ignoring the sounds of battle that echoed through the mountain. As dawn broke on the 30th day of the siege, they emerged from their lab, exhausted but triumphant. "We've done it," Elena announced to the weary defenders. "We found a way to penetrate their defenses and potentially disable their ships." The news spread like wildfire through the resistance. With renewed energy, they prepared for a counterattack. Elena's device was quickly replicated and distributed to their fighters. As the sun rose on the 31st day, the resistance launched their assault. The Zarquin, confident in their superior technology, were caught off guard. One by one, their ships fell from the sky, disabled by the humans' ingenious device. By nightfall, the skies above Cheyenne Mountain were clear of Zarquin forces. The cheers of the victorious humans echoed across the Rocky Mountains. But Elena knew this was just the beginning. They had won a battle, but the war was far from over. As she stood on the mountain's peak, watching the sunset on their first major victory, she made a silent vow. "We're coming for you," she whispered to the stars, imagining the Zarquin homeworld light years away. "You thought you could break us, but you've only made us stronger. And we will take back our planet, no matter the cost." As the resistance celebrated below, Elena turned back to the mountain, her mind already racing with plans for their next move. The Zarquin had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they would face the full force of human determination and ingenuity. The tide was turning. Humanity was rising, and the galaxy would never be the same. Technological breakthrough. The victory at Cheyenne Mountain marked a turning point in humanity's struggle against the Zarquin. As news of their success spread, pockets of resistance around the globe gained strength and courage. However, Elena Reyes knew that localized victories wouldn't be enough to liberate Earth. They needed something bigger, something that would shift the balance of power on a global scale. In the months following the Battle of Cheyenne Mountain, the underground complex had been transformed into a bustling center of human ingenuity. Scientists, engineers, and tacticians worked tirelessly, reverse engineering captured Zarquin technology and developing new weapons and defenses. Elena found herself at the heart of this intellectual storm, coordinating efforts and pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. But despite their progress, she felt they were still missing something crucial. Late one night, as she pored over schematics of Zarquin energy systems, a thought struck her. She rushed to Dr. Tanaka's lab, her mind racing with possibilities. "Yuki," she called out, startling the physicist who had dozed off at her workstation. "I think I've figured it out. The key to beating the Zarquin isn't just in countering their technology, it's in surpassing it." Dr. Tanaka blinked sleepily, then her eyes widened as Elena explained her theory. The Zarquins' advanced technology all stemmed from their mastery of energy manipulation at a quantum level. If humans could crack that code, they might be able to not only match Zarquin capabilities, but exceed them. The two scientists immediately set to work, their excitement palpable. They called in experts from various fields, quantum physics, computer science, even biology, to contribute to what they called Project Prometheus. Weeks turned into months as the team worked around the clock. There were setbacks and frustrations, moments when it seemed like they were chasing an impossible dream. But Elena refused to give up. She knew that this could be their one shot at true liberation. It was Dr. Usha Mahmoud, a brilliant young physicist from Egypt, who finally made the breakthrough. She had been studying the biological components of Zarquin technology and noticed a correlation between their quantum manipulation techniques and certain neural patterns in their brains. What if, she proposed during a late-night brainstorming session, we could replicate those neural patterns in a human brain, create an interface that would allow a human to directly manipulate quantum energy. The idea was radical, even dangerous, but it was exactly the kind of innovative thinking they needed. Elena immediately greenlit further research into this human quantum interface. As work on Project Prometheus intensified, the war outside Cheyenne Mountain continued to rage. General Hawthorne's forces, bolstered by their earlier victory, launched daring raids against Zarquin strongholds. Layla's spy network grew, providing crucial intelligence that kept the resistance one step ahead of their enemies. But the Zarquin were far from defeated. They responded to human resistance with increasing brutality, leveling entire cities in retaliation for rebel actions. The death toll mounted, and Elena felt the weight of each loss keenly. 6 months into Project Prometheus, they were ready for their first human trial. The interface, a sleek neural implant that would connect directly with the user's brain, was complete. Now they needed a volunteer to test it. Elena stepped forward without hesitation. "I'll do it," she said, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut. "This was my idea. I should be the one to test it." There were immediate protests. Dr. Tanaka argued that they couldn't risk losing their lead scientist. General Hawthorne insisted that Elena was too valuable to the resistance, but Elena stood firm. "We're asking our people to risk their lives every day fighting the Zarquin," she said. "I won't ask anyone to take a risk I'm not willing to take myself." The day of the procedure dawned clear and cold. As Elena was prepped for surgery, she thought about how far they had come and how far they still had to go. If this worked, it could change everything. If it didn't, well, she tried not to think about that. The surgery lasted for hours. When Elena finally awoke, her head pounding and her vision blurry, she was surrounded by anxious faces. "Did it work?" she mumbled, trying to focus. Dr. Tanaka's face swam into view. "We don't know yet," she said softly. "How do you feel?" Elena closed her eyes, concentrating. At first, she felt nothing unusual. Then, gradually, she became aware of something, a sense of energy flowing around her, through her. She opened her eyes and gasped. The world looked different. She could see energy patterns swirling around people and objects. When she focused on a nearby computer, she could sense the flow of electricity through its circuits. I think it worked," she whispered, awe-struck. Over the next few weeks, Elena learned to control her new abilities. It was challenging and often frustrating, but exhilarating. She could manipulate energy fields, interfacing directly with technology in ways that had previously been impossible for humans. As Elena's mastery grew, so did the possibilities for the resistance. They began developing new weapons and defenses based on her enhanced abilities. The tide of the war slowly began to turn. The first major test of the new technology came during a Zarquin assault on their secondary base in the Appalachian Mountains. Elena, linked to their defense systems through her neural interface, was able to predict and counter Zarquin attacks with unprecedented speed and accuracy. The battle was fierce, but for the first time, the humans were clearly outmatching their alien opponents. Zarquin ships fell from the sky, their advanced shields useless against weapons, guided by Elena's quantum-enhanced mind. As news of the victory spread, hope surged through the resistance. They finally had a weapon that could truly challenge Zarquin dominance. But Elena knew that one enhanced individual wouldn't be enough to liberate the planet. They needed to replicate the technology to create an army of quantum-enhanced soldiers. The process of refining and mass-producing the neural implants began immediately. Volunteers stepped forward, willing to undergo the risky procedure for the chance to fight back effectively against their oppressors. However, as their numbers grew, Elena began to notice something unexpected. The enhanced humans seemed to be developing a sort of collective consciousness, able to communicate and coordinate with each other on a level that transcended normal human interaction. This development brought both opportunities and concerns. The enhanced humans were incredibly effective in combat, able to work together with a synergy that the Zarquin couldn't match. But there were fears about the long-term effects of the technology on human psychology and society. Elena herself grappled with these questions. She could feel the pull of the collective consciousness, the temptation to lose herself in the group mind. But she also recognized the importance of maintaining individual identity and free will. As they prepared for a major offensive to retake key cities around the globe, Elena gathered the enhanced soldiers for a crucial talk. "What we've achieved here is revolutionary," she told them, her voice resonating not just in the air, but through their shared neural network. "We have the power to free our planet, to strike back against those who sought to enslave us. But we must never forget what we're fighting for, the right of humans to live free, to make their own choices." She paused, looking around at the faces of those she had led into this new frontier of human evolution. "We are the vanguard of a new era for humanity. The choices we make, the examples we set, will shape the future of our species. Let us use our power wisely and never lose sight of our humanity." As the enhanced soldiers saluted, their minds humming with shared purpose and resolve, Elena turned her gaze to the horizon. The final battle for Earth's freedom was about to begin, and she was determined to see it through to victory, no matter the cost. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and the galaxy was about to witness the true power of human resilience and innovation. Galactic confrontation. The liberation of Earth was a grueling campaign that lasted months. Cities around the globe were reclaimed one by one, each victory fueled by the incredible synergy of the quantum-enhanced human forces. Elena Reyes, at the forefront of this revolution, led her people with a combination of tactical brilliance and raw power that the Zarquin simply couldn't match. As the last Zarquin stronghold on Earth fell, a cheer went up that seemed to shake the very foundations of the planet. Humanity had done the impossible. They had driven off a technologically superior alien invasion force. But Elena knew their fight was far from over. As long as the Zarquin and their Galactic Council existed, Earth would never be truly safe. It was time to take the fight to the stars. In the weeks following Earth's liberation, Elena worked tirelessly with Dr. Tanaka and their team to adapt their quantum technology for space travel. They retrofitted captured Zarquin ships with human enhancements, creating a fleet that was a unique hybrid of alien and human innovation. As preparations for their Interstellar campaign were underway, Elena received an unexpected message. It came through on a frequency they had never detected before, bypassing all their advanced communication systems. "Humans of Earth," the message began, "we are the Viridian Collective, a group of species who have long opposed the Galactic Council's expansionist policies. We have watched your struggle against the Zarquin with great interest. Perhaps it is time we joined forces." The message was met with skepticism by many in the resistance leadership. General Hawthorne argued that they couldn't trust any alien species after their experience with the Zarquin. But Elena saw an opportunity. "We can't face the entire Galactic Council alone," she reasoned. "If there are others out there who oppose their methods, we need to at least hear them out." After much debate, it was decided that Elena would lead a small delegation to meet with the Viridian Collective. The rendezvous point was set in a neutral system, far from both Earth and known Galactic Council territory. As their ship, the Phoenix, dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the designated coordinates, Elena felt a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The ship that greeted them was unlike anything they had ever seen. It seemed to shimmer and shift, as if it wasn't fully present in normal space. The meeting that followed was tense but productive. The Viridian Collective, it turned out, was composed of species who had resisted or escaped Galactic Council control. They had been waging a silent war against the Council for centuries and saw in humanity a potential ally that could tip the scales. "Your quantum enhancement technology is unlike anything we've seen," the Viridian representative, a being of swirling energy named Six, told Elena. "Combined with our own unique abilities, we might finally have a chance to break the Council's grip on the galaxy." The alliance was formed, and plans were set in motion. The human fleet, bolstered by Viridian ships and technology, began a series of lightning strikes against Galactic Council outposts. Their combined forces were formidable: humans with their quantum enhancements and indomitable spirit, Viridians with their mastery of unconventional physics and centuries of experience in guerrilla warfare. As news of their victories spread, more species began to rebel against Council rule. The galaxy was erupting in chaos, and at the center of it all was humanity, the upstart species that had dared to challenge the established order. But the Galactic Council was far from defeated. As the conflict escalated, they unveiled weapons of terrifying power, planet killers and reality-warping devices that threatened to tear the very fabric of space-time. The final confrontation took place in the Andromeda Galaxy, in orbit around a dying star that the Council was using to power their most devastating weapon, a device capable of rewriting the fundamental laws of physics within a localized area. Elena stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, surrounded by her fellow enhanced humans and their Viridian allies. Before them loomed the massive Council Armada, protecting the star-encompassing weapon that could end everything they had fought for. "This is it," Elena addressed her forces, her words carried across the fleet through their shared neural network. "Everything we've struggled for, everything we've lost and gained, it all comes down to this moment. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for every species that has suffered under Council rule, for the right of all beings to determine their own destiny." She paused, looking out at the sea of stars that had once seemed so distant and unreachable. "We started this journey as explorers, seeking friendship among the stars. We were betrayed, enslaved, nearly destroyed. But we rose from the ashes, stronger than ever. Now it's our turn to reshape the galaxy, to create a future where no species need fear domination by another." As she finished speaking, alarms blared across the fleet. The Council weapon was powering up, reality itself seeming to warp around the dying star. "All ships, commence attack," Elena commanded. The battle that followed was beyond anything in human history. Quantum-enhanced humans merged minds with their ships, becoming one with their technology in a way that even the Zarquin hadn't achieved. Viridian vessels phased in and out of normal space, striking at the Council ships from impossible angles. Elena, at the heart of it all, pushed her abilities to their limit. She could feel the quantum fabric of space-time, could see the flows of energy that the Council weapon was manipulating. With a thought, she linked with every enhanced human in the fleet, their minds becoming a singular, vast intelligence. As Council ships fell and the weapon inched closer to firing, Elena made a decision. They needed to strike at the heart of the device to disrupt its reality-warping field from within. It was a suicide mission, but it was their only chance. "I'm going in," she announced, her voice steady despite the enormity of what she was about to do. "Keep them busy out here." Before anyone could protest, Elena's consciousness left her physical body. Propelled by the combined mental energy of the entire enhanced human fleet, her mind streaked towards the Council weapon, a bolt of pure thought and will. As she penetrated the weapon's defenses, Elena found herself in a realm beyond normal physics. Here, thought and reality were one and the same. The Council operators, beings of pure energy, recoiled in shock at her intrusion. In this place, the battle was one of will and imagination. Elena drew upon every ounce of human creativity, every spark of innovation that had driven her species from cave-dwelling primates to star-faring warriors. She thought of Earth, of the billions who had suffered and died, of the future they were fighting for. Reality warped around her, the weapons' energies turning in on themselves. Elena could feel her consciousness fragmenting, spreading across time and space. With her last coherent thought, she pushed, turning the full power of the device against the Council fleet. Outside, in normal space, the human and Viridian forces watched in awe as the Council weapon imploded, taking with it the majority of the Council fleet. As the light from the explosion faded, they realized that Elena was gone. In the aftermath of the battle, as the surviving Council forces surrendered and the galaxy reeled from the shift in power, Elena's sacrifice became legend. She was remembered not just as the savior of Earth, but as the catalyst that reshaped the political landscape of the entire galaxy. The Galactic Council was dissolved, replaced by a new alliance of species dedicated to mutual cooperation and respect for self-determination. Humanity, so recently on the brink of extinction, now found itself at the forefront of a new galactic civilization. And somewhere, in the quantum fabric of the universe, many believed that Elena's consciousness lived on, a guardian spirit for a new age of exploration and discovery. The galaxy would never be the same, and the name of humanity would be spoken with reverence among the stars for eons to come. A new era of cooperation. In the years following the fall of the Galactic Council, the galaxy entered a period of unprecedented change and growth. The power vacuum left by the Council's dissolution was quickly filled by a new organization, the Galactic Cooperative, a union of species dedicated to mutual aid, scientific advancement, and the preservation of individual freedoms. Humanity, once the newcomers to the galactic stage, now found itself in a position of significant influence. Their quantum enhancement technology, combined with their demonstrated resilience and adaptability, made them valuable allies to many species. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, one of the key minds behind Project Prometheus, became Earth's first representative to the Galactic Cooperative's governing body. In her inaugural address, she paid tribute to Elena Reyes and the sacrifices made during the liberation struggle. "We stand here today not as conquerors, but as partners," Tanaka declared to the assembled delegates from across the galaxy. "Our victory was not just for humanity, but for all species who value freedom and self-determination." Elena Reyes gave her life not just for Earth, but for the dream of a galaxy where all beings can coexist in peace and mutual respect. The legacy of the human resistance sparked a renaissance of scientific and cultural exchange. The quantum enhancement technology, once a closely guarded secret, was now being adapted for peaceful purposes. Enhanced humans worked alongside scientists from other species, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. One of the most significant developments came in the field of medicine. The ability to manipulate energy at a quantum level led to breakthroughs in treating diseases once thought incurable. Leila Khoury, the former head of Earth's Spy Network, now led an interspecies medical research team. Their work saved billions of lives across numerous worlds. But the transition wasn't without its challenges. Some humans, emboldened by their victory over the Zaraquin, pushed for a more aggressive, expansionist policy. They argued that humanity should use its newfound power to dominate rather than cooperate. General Marcus Hawthorne, now serving as Earth's defense coordinator, found himself constantly pushing back against these hawkish elements. "We didn't fight to free ourselves from one tyranny just to become tyrants ourselves," he often said in public addresses. The Viridian Collective, humanity's allies in the war against the Council, proved invaluable in navigating the complex politics of the post-Council galaxy. Their centuries of experience in resisting domination made them natural mediators in conflicts between species. As decades passed, the scars of war began to heal. The Zaraquin, stripped of their position of power, underwent a cultural revolution. Many of their younger generation, inspired by humanity's example, pushed for reforms and reconciliation. It was a slow, often painful process, but gradually, the Zaraquin began to find their place in the new galactic order. A century after the fall of the Galactic Council, humanity celebrated a monumental achievement. A team of enhanced human scientists, working in conjunction with Viridian energy manipulators and Zaraquin quantum theorists, successfully created the galaxy's first stable wormhole. This breakthrough in faster-than-light travel promised to bring even the most distant parts of the galaxy within reach. At the opening ceremony for the wormhole gate, a statue of Elena Reyes was unveiled. The inscription read, "To the woman who showed us that the human spirit knows no bounds. Her sacrifice opened the gateway to the stars." As ships from 100 worlds lined up to make their first journey through the wormhole, many reflected on how far they had come, from a species on the brink of enslavement to key players in a galactic civilization. Humanity's journey had been one of incredible hardship and triumph. But perhaps the greatest testament to Elena's legacy wasn't in the technological marvels or political achievements. It was in the countless stories of cooperation and friendship between species that once would have been bitter enemies. On a small blue-green planet orbiting a yellow star, a young Zaraquin exchange student sat in a classroom, learning about Earth's history. As the lesson turned to the Liberation War and Elena's sacrifice, the student felt a mix of shame for his species' past actions and admiration for the human spirit. After class, he approached his human teacher. "Do you think," he asked hesitantly, "that Elena Reyes will have forgiven us? The Zaraquin, I mean." The teacher smiled, her eyes twinkling with an almost otherworldly wisdom. Elena fought not just against the Zaraquin, but against the idea that any species had the right to dominate another. "I think she would be proud to see you here, learning and growing alongside humans. That's the future she gave her life for." As the Zaraquin student nodded thoughtfully, neither he nor the teacher noticed the brief shimmer in the air, like a ripple in the fabric of reality. For a moment, just a moment, the quantum-enhanced sensors in the room registered a familiar energy signature, an echo of a consciousness that had once spanned the galaxy. In that instant, it seemed as if Elena Reyes, the woman who had changed the course of galactic history, was smiling upon the scene. Her dream of a galaxy united not by force, but by understanding and cooperation, was alive and thriving. And so, the story of humanity's great struggle became not just a tale of war and sacrifice, but a legend of hope, a reminder to all species that even in the darkest times, the indomitable spirit of sentient beings could overcome any obstacle and forge a brighter future among the stars. As night fell on Earth and countless other worlds across the galaxy, people of all species looked up at the stars with wonder and gratitude. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but together, they faced the future with hope, determination, and the unshakable belief that anything was possible. The end of one chapter had become the beginning of a greater story, the story of a galaxy united, forever changed by the spark of human resilience and the sacrifices of those who dared to dream of a better tomorrow.